So you've got that itch, right? That idea to start your own company. If you've ever gone down that rabbit hole, you've probably felt it. This huge pressure to build the next big thing, the next unicorn, the next world-changing tech giant. The culture around us practically screams, go big or go home. But what if that's not the only way to play the game? What if there's a better, more sustainable path for most of us? Okay, let's get into it.
And that brings us to the big question, the one you've got to ask yourself right at the beginning. Should you build a high-growth startup or a profitable small business? And look, these aren't just two different sizes of the same thing. No, they're completely different animals, with different DNA, different rules, and totally different ideas of what success even looks like.
First things first, we have to talk about the culture, this obsession we have with the title founder. It's got this prestige, a certain cool factor. Entrepreneurship is mainstream now, and being a founder is kind of like being the new rock star. But should we really be chasing a title?
John Westenberg just nails this idea. He compares this whole founder obsession to people on a TV singing contest. They all say their dream is to be a singer. What they mean is they want the fame, the lifestyle, the whole package. But they rarely say their dream is simply to sing. To actually do the work, play the small gigs, and build an audience one person at a time.
That analogy just frames the conflict perfectly. And it's a gut check question we have to ask ourselves and be really honest about it. Are you drawn to the idea of being a founder? Or are you actually in love with the work of building a business? Do you want the status, or do you love the process?
All right, so let's really break this down. Because to make the right choice for you, you've got to understand the fundamental DNA of these two paths. They operate in completely different worlds with totally different expectations.
The startup world, especially in a place like Silicon Valley, it basically lives and breathes on one thing: venture capital, VC money. And this isn't just a way to get funding, it's the engine that sets the speed, dictates the direction, and defines what winning even means in that whole ecosystem.
And this number, 100x, this is what changes the entire game. A venture capital fund isn't looking for a nice, steady, profitable company. They need to find the one company in their portfolio that could give them 100 times return on their investment. That single number creates this intense, all-or-nothing pressure cooker, where massive, crazy fast growth is the only thing that matters.
So here's the side-by-side. On one side, the startup. Its goal is to grow like a rocket, to dominate a market. It's fueled by other people's money, and success is almost always about the exit, getting bought by a bigger company or going public. Then you've got the small business. The goal here is totally different. It's about sustainability and profit. It's usually self-funded. And success? Well, that's defined by your own goals and the long-term health of the business.
Now look, this isn't to say the startup model is bad. It's not. It's a very specific tool for a very specific job. If your business idea relies on what's called a network effect, where the service gets more valuable the more people use it, well, you can't really grow slowly. Think about it. Platforms like Uber, Facebook, or Twitter, they needed massive scale just to work at all. For them, the startup path was pretty much the only path.
But, and this is a big but, for the vast majority of business ideas out there, there is another way. So let's talk about the incredible, often completely overlooked power of choosing to build a small, profitable business on purpose.
Listen to that promise. This isn't just a business strategy, it's a life strategy. The argument is that choosing this path on purpose can actually lead to a better quality of life, happier, healthier, wealthier, and wiser. But how? How does that actually work?
Okay, let's unpack these. First up, you get to focus on simplicity. You set clear limits, which means you can avoid the pressure to just keep adding more and more features, and instead you can perfect what really matters to your customers. Second, people matter more. You can actually spend real time with your team and your clients. Third, you can keep it personal. You have the freedom to add that little bit of human magic that big corporations just can't fake. Fourth, and this is a big one, financial control. Lower overheads mean you're not just chasing revenue, you're building profit that actually stays in your pocket. And finally, you get to own your growth. When you do decide to grow, you do it strategically, from a place of strength and profit, not out of desperation.
So what this all points to is a pretty radical rethinking of what entrepreneurial success actually looks like.
It's about shifting away from that billionaire or bust lottery ticket of the startup world and moving towards a much more grounded, sustainable model of both wealth and happiness. And I want to be really clear here. This is about way more than just bootstrapping. Bootstrapping just means you're funding the company yourself. This is a mindset. It's a whole philosophy. It means you are intentionally setting boundaries for your business, defining its real purpose, and then working a clear plan to hit sustainable profit within those boundaries. It's a deliberate choice.
And this quote just sums it all up, doesn't it? If you follow this path, you're probably not going to be a billionaire, but you could be a very happy, healthy, and wise millionaire. And for most of us, that's not just a pretty good option. That's an amazing option. It's about building a life, not just building an exit strategy. At the end of the day, there's no single right answer. The startup path is the right one for a tiny few. But the small business path is a powerful, fulfilling, and seriously profitable option for so many more of us. The only question that really matters is the one you have to answer for yourself. So, what does success actually look like to you?